What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Game Blaze, and today we are doing a guide to the Gleaming Depths raid. We're going to talk about the ins and the outs, the do's and the don'ts, so let's just jump into it right now. Let's go. Alright, so section 1 is the EN06 Guardian. Now, this is in a circular room with the EN06 Guardian in the center. Now, 3 sealed chambers around the room labeled A, B, and C. Now, for reference, you'll actually be entering the room through A, but we'll get into that in a second. The event starts by hitting a button on the control panel, and once it starts, the Guardian will relentlessly spin and try to kill everything it sees. Now, you win by targeting its Ultragenic Shield System that's attached to its back. Once the shield is down, you just tank the rest of its body, but you have to do it quickly before the room heats up and the shield regenerates. Now, when it heats up, you're going to have to hide in one of 3 chambers that I mentioned earlier. Only one opens at a time, so the whole team needs to get in there ASAP before the doors shut. After a few seconds, the shield on the EN06 Guardian resets and the doors blow off, letting you out, but that means that that room can't be used again. Quick reminder, there's only 3 rooms, so you know what that means. Now, some tips on winning. The EN06 Guardian requires a tank, and that means you. And if you like tanking enemies, this is your time to shine. My suggestions are simple and as follows. 1, use power armor. I know some of you don't like to, but the Guardian hits hard and the power armor helps. The Guardian deploys a lot of weapons to hurt you, but the lasers on its hands hit the hardest. The power armor helps, but only so much. So this is why you need to stay near a wall pillar for protection while you regenerate health. Also, this level basically requires you to use a heavy gun. Leave your single-shot rifle and your pistols at your camp. No one wants those here. You won't be helpful to your teammates, and they're going to have to carry you, and then eventually you're going to die, and they're going to die. They might be of use later, but not in this room, okay? Run a minigun of some kind. The 50 cal and the Gauss minigun are my go-to weapons for this event. Also, having a vampire attachment on your gun helps immensely here. And it is strongly recommended. You'll do a little less damage than some other perks, but you'll stay alive. Also, pack psychobuff, trust me, and use it. Use a lot of it. I can usually do this round with just 1, but I've always got a second on standby just in case. Now, once the EN06 Guardian is done, we're off to the next section. The exit for reference is behind the control panel between rooms B and C. Now, section 2 is the Ultracite Drill. The drill room itself is basically a square. The drill is on the right as you enter, as is the button to start the event. Once your team starts the event, the doors in the back of the room will open, allowing you to head into the mines and collect fuel for the drill. Ultracite mole miners are waiting for you back there, and trust me, they will one-shot kill you. All the while out front, you'll have little moles with bombs attached to them trying to destroy the drill, and regular mole miners trying to destroy anyone who's protecting the drill, alright? The goal is to fill the drill with fuel. That's it. Listen to me. Fill the drill with fuel. That said, listen, I know a lot of people don't like going into the mine to get fuel. I get it. It's scary. It's dark. You might die. But that's the game. So grab your nuts, or if you're a girl, grab whatever else you have down in that general area and get your ass back into the mines and get the fuel. If you die, you'll learn how not to, and that's the game. So let's go into some tips on winning. Spoiler alert, the mole miners in the drill room are not trying to attack the drill. They're trying to attack you. And killing the mole miners will not win the event. They're not going to win the room. They're not going to win anything. You can kill 1,000 mole miners and it won't matter. The drill needs fuel. Got it? The little moles with the bombs on their back are trying to destroy the drill. And those are who you need to shoot. Mole miners too, but they're less important. I just need everyone to understand killing mole miners does not win the event at all. Only getting fuel does. That's it. Now, some tips on how to get the fuel. First, don't be afraid to die. It's going to happen. Hopefully less often when you get good at memorizing the mine. But second, don't use power armor. It's just not necessary. Nothing is going to protect you back there. And unless you are protecting the drill, power armor is probably more of a hindrance because it's loud and you're eating up fusion cores and your AP. The Ultracite mole miners in the back are going to one-shot you regardless. So trust me, just save all your stuff and run your ass off. You can use the new pointer system to point out enemies and fuel in the back. Also, do me a favor and try to spread out. The last thing you want is 2 people dying because one mole miner killed you both. So once the drill is fueled up, we're off to the next section and down the tunnel, so let's go. Section 3, Enclave Squad Epsilon. Now for fans of Fallout 3, we've actually already met Enclave Squad Sigma. At least you might have, depending on how you entered the mobile base crawler at Adams Air Force Base way back in the day. Anyway, this is Enclave Squad Epsilon, and they have the same Ultragenic Shield generators that the EN06 Guardian had on it. The difference is that rather than destroying something on their backs, there are 3 generators in the rooms that you'll need to destroy before you can attack any of them. Meanwhile, little iBots will be flying around trying to repair the generators. So, here's a couple of tips on winning. First, the generators obviously need to be destroyed as soon as the event is started by pushing the button on the control panel. Once the 3 generators are down, my advice is to pick one, typically Bloodhound, and have your whole team tank him. Heavy guns work best here. For VATS users, aim for the head, and if you've got criticals, trust me, use them. Keep in mind that those iBots are coming to ruin the party, so at least one of you needs to continue destroying them. Fortunately for us, the iBots typically pick one single generator at a time, meaning that someone can be on iBot duty while the other 3 tank the squad. Psychobuff, heavy gun, power armor, and VATS criticals are recommended. Once they're dead, it's time to move on to the next section though. Section 4 is the Gleaming Depths, and yes, it's this room that is being referred to as the Gleaming Depths, not the lake below. But anyway, the goal here is to defeat the Ultragenic Horde, and the only thing that can kill these things are the Ultracite crystals popping out of the ground. Now, your job is to wait until they're close to a crystal and destroy the crystal, which will then destroy it. Doing this will emit a blast that hurts or kills anything that's in the radius of the crystal's burst, alright? So here's some tips on winning. Listen, kill the fucking Ultracite mole miner first. Trust me, he comes out of this tunnel right here, and he is a total piece of crap. He's the hardest thing in the room to kill, and he'll one-shot kill you just like the mole miners in the mines upstairs did where the drill was. It is, however, in your best interest to get as many other creatures next to him as you can. That way, by the time he's dead, so are most of the rad toads, cave crickets, and mirelurks, alright? The death claws and the gulpers are going to be next, and you just need to get them near the remaining crystals and blast them. This room is really easy if done right. A helmet of some kind is recommended to help prevent airborne diseases, but once they're all dead, it's on to the final section. This last section is the Ultracite Terror, and I've had a lot of people either comment publicly or privately that they can't kill this thing. So let's just walk through it, and eventually, I promise, you'll destroy this thing on your first go around. First, for the love of fuck, please wait for everyone to be ready. Some of us are taking a lot of drugs and need a second to find them all. Damn, alright? So now, let's talk prep. Again, I recommend you run power armor, you will need a jetpack, and you should have a heavy gun. All perks help. Right? So when you get to the island, I recommend waiting for everyone to give a thumbs up, and then take your drugs right before you start the event. Psycho only lasts 3 minutes unless you've got perk cards. That means every second counts. Now, Psycho Buff, Overdrive, and anything else you want to take will help. I usually have to take some perfect bubblegum as well, just so I don't have to manage food. You can buy that with gold bullion at Foundation from Samuel. When the Terror breaks the waterfall, you got about 10 seconds to just unload on him before his first real attack begins. Alright? This is probably the best time for VATS and VATS criticals. Use criticals when you aim for the eye. Either one, it doesn't matter. But you can do just massive damage on VATS criticals if you hit the eyes in just the right way. Anyway, there are 3 attacks from this thing. It spits Ultracite liquid at you, it screams at you, and it will lunge at the group and bite or ram you. The most dangerous of the 3 is the scream. If you stand too far back on the island, this will blow you back into the Ultracite and you will die instantly. My advice is stay your ass up front. Don't be afraid of this thing. Its other attacks don't do that much damage, trust me. The second worst attack is the Ultracite Spit. It's not that bad when it hits you, but it pulls up on the ground, and if you're standing in it, it steals your life real quick. My best advice is to use third-person view so you can actually see what you're standing in a lot easier. Now, the lunge attack doesn't even hurt that much. If it hits you, just trust me, brush it off and keep shooting. Now, this is important, so pay attention. When you see the Ultracite Terror's tail pop up, stop whatever you are doing and shoot that tail. The whole team needs to do this. If that tail isn't shot, it will slap the island and break pieces of it off until there is no island left and everyone dies. That's bad. We don't want that. So the tail is always priority. Other than that, this dude just needs to get tanked. Now, some tips for winning. I've kind of already given some tips this whole time, but I've got a few more. So instead of using VATS throughout the event, you just use them up front, right? And then save your AP the rest of the time and use it for the jetpack to stay up in the air. If you're in the air, the Terror screams won't actually affect you. That's one less thing that you have to worry about. Also, the pools of Ultracite on the ground won't affect you if you're not standing in them, so that helps too. And that's really it. Wear power armor, use a jetpack, take a lot of drugs, and shoot this thing in the face with a heavy gun. You do that, and I'm sure you will lead your team to victory real soon. Oh, and one last thing. Bring some berry mentets and pop those right before you win. Trust me, you'll be happy that you did. And that's it, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Game Blaze while we run Fallout 76, the Gleaming Depths raid. It's amazing. Trust me, once you get through this, you're going to get hooked and you're going to do it over and over again. And I'm going to catch you out there in the raids. I'll see y'all then. Peace.
Mm-hmm.